Welcome back to the Oceanside International Film Festival, and wasn't that amazing? Come on, one more round of applause. These are some great films. Co-director of programming here at the festival alongside Carly Starr. Talk on cinema. One more round of applause while they make their way, please. Okay, in all seriousness, these films range in a wide array of how to display their own brands of humor, but they all have this through line of just this togetherness and this ability to kind of showcase a lot of the pitfalls of filmmaking, maybe the pitfalls of another art form, and the pitfalls of the system itself. And we're going to discuss all this. So, let's see, right here, we're going to go to Carly Miller. So, Back to One is such a fantastic way to showcase one of my favorite words. The definition of sonder. The profound, often sudden realization that every random passerby is living a life as vivid, complex, and chaotic as your own. And it's really interesting to see a film that instead of being all about the actual filmmaking team, we have the passerby getting in the background or interrupting or just wondering what's going on or how fun it is to make one. And what led to the inspiration to make a film on this topic but the point A, the A plot is from the perspective of who you wouldn't suspect.
Well, first of all, I want to congratulate all the other filmmakers on stage. I had such a blast watching all of it. Can't wait to hear all your guys' takes. Yeah, it was, this film came about because a dear friend of mine, Saad, asked, he's like, hey, we got this competition coming up. Do you want to kind of collaborate and write something? We have 5 minutes to tell a story and just kind of 2 weeks to shoot and edit the movie. And I was on a trip in Japan at the time, and I just thought, well, what can I write? Like, what do I know? And I was like, I know what it's like to be a filmmaker. And I know what it's like to be somewhere you're not supposed to be filming, and you always worry, like, who's going to catch you? And so it kind of unfolded from there, and then I thought, well, the punchline is, of course, like, no good deed goes unpunished. Like, at first you see something, you intervene, you're trying to do the right thing, and then, of course, at the end, when you see something actually bad happen, you're like, oh, well, they're just part of the film crew. It's no big deal. We're good. But really, it was just a highly collaborative process with everyone and all of us working in film going, oh, wouldn't it be funny if, they talk about the permits and, like, you need a permit. And so, yeah, it was a great time.
And it really shines a light on the idea of this harmonious frustration of the filmmaking process itself, in which your film is kind of giving every creative in the audience the permission to allow themselves to just admit that, yeah, it can be tough at times, there are hurdles, and you showcase a really light, just kind of fun way to showcase some of the things that can happen during that road, from a safe distance, if you will.
Yeah. I think all of us know the feeling of filming somewhere we don't have permission to be in, so it's just tribute to that.
And your decision at the end to undo the dark fate, the potential dark fate, was that always in your through line, or?
You mean when he takes the card away?
Yes.
That was kind of improvised by a lot of us on set. We that were like, oh, wouldn't it be funny if he leaves the card? And oh, wouldn't it be funny if he has a change of heart and comes back? He's a lovable hitman. Like, he's not that bad. So.
And speaking of changes of heart, with Nani, that is one of the most, yeah, please, one more, yeah, that was so amazing. Manak,
Yeah, Menak.
it is so nice to meet you, and thank you so much for providing us the opportunity to showcase your beautiful work. And this film feels so personal, and so just such a amazing, realistic fly on the wall of a family we feel like we're truly watching. And what led to the creation of this film, and how you ended up handling such a great change of heart that the father has?
It was during, I think, writer's strike, and the news was going, news and the world, everything was going so bad. And I work in documentaries. I'm a documentary editor, and I'm always surrounded with bad news. You know, all my work is about bad things happening. So I wanted to write something which was lighthearted and which takes you away from the news and all the stuff that's stressing us out. But I'm an immigrant, so I wanted to tell an immigrant story set in LA, where I live now. And I go to this neighborhood where Little Bangladesh is, which most people in LA don't know exist. So I wanted to tell a story about that, because that neighborhood is inside Koreatown. And if you go there, you'll see more Mexicans than Bangladeshis. So it's very confusing if you don't see the sign that this is Little Bangladesh. So that, and my grandma had died the year before, and I was thinking, how can I tell a story about an immigrant family, but not make them victims or anything, you know? Just tell them, show them like a normal family with normal issues that every family has. You can change it to a Lebanese family, or like an Indian family, or a Japanese family, you know? And also in immigrant families, I don't know about other cultures, like the grandpa and grandma, sometimes they come to America and they're so alienated from everything. They're stuck in their room once they get old, and they don't have friends here. So I wanted to show that part also, but make it fun. So that was my intention.
You gave a great interview to Cinema Express, in which part of it was regarding your previous work on a favorite show of mine as a kid, Nick News, and in how you would take hard-hitting situation and subject matter, but you would have to re-explain it for a younger audience. And a lot of that was so interesting to see in this film, how you have the daughter being able to kind of maybe get through a little bit, you know, in that kind of generational gap of how to handle things. Was there any kind of a experience from your days on programs like that that led to you writing the film the way you did, in such a heartfelt and true way?
I would not say that there was a one example or anything. I worked on Nick News for 2 years, and I was making news for teenagers. And I'm not a teenager, I'm much older than teenagers. So I had to always think, like, how will this news be taken by somebody at the time? And the news was always kind of bad, like climate is, we're all gonna burn in hell, Trump is president, all that stuff. But you have to edit it in a fun way, you know, so that the teenager is not bored, because we are competing with her phone and thousands of other things. So I guess that has influenced the style of this also. I mean, using like a hip hop, there's a hip hop group in Little Bangladesh whose song I'm using. Nobody knows them here, but they're very big in Bangladesh. Then, yeah, stuff like that. I try to edit it in a fun way, which is what I learned while editing all these things. Because I remember, like, now compared to like 8 years ago when I was starting to edit these things, now you have to do it in a very different way, because you cannot let it, sometimes you can, which I appreciate, but most of the time you have to constantly be keeping the attention of everything you make these days. It's annoying.
And you mentioned doing things in different ways, and when it comes to a different way to do things, we have an animation in our block. And hello, Kai. Thank you so much for joining us. So this was a thesis film for Chapman University, correct?
Yes, it was.
What landed this subject to be your thesis? You have one choice to make, and how did you end up at Leafcutter?
Uh, you know, we were my class and I were all in our thesis class at the very beginning. Around like the end of junior year, we were all brainstorming ideas for our own films, and I noticed that there were a few films that like people want to be, for lack of a better term, safe with their films. A lot of the industry right now is being pushed towards kid-friendly content, especially for animation. And so I really, the first thing that I thought was that I wanted to push that. I wanted to make something that I personally would want to watch. And secondly, I've always really been drawn to stories about grit and tenacity throughout my life, and I wanted to put a little bit of an animated violent twist on that. Of course, this film festival didn't have enough animated films to have their own animation section, but I'm glad that I did have one joke in the film that I guess maybe justified its place in the comedic section, maybe. But yeah, I really want to tell a story about grit and tenacity and showing one's true strength behind some of the burdens that a person may have. Yeah.
I think you did just that. I think you did. There we go. I think you did just that in such a unique way, and we really appreciate the work that you put in. You've really given your class a true gift. So, and all of us as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
And when it comes to writing, so how much, Dave Roses, how much did writer's block truly inspire Write On to become a thing?
I didn't have writer's block. I had made my first film. This was my second film. And after I made my first film, I felt like people really liked it. And when I had to come to make my second film, I felt like I had this pressure to like rise to the occasion. So I had like this enormous self-doubt, and I wanted to make a movie about self-doubt. And in like researching writer's block, I felt like writer's block is mostly about self-doubt. And I've always been enamored with people who set out to do things, and then they're just looking for tips and tricks and shortcuts and all this stuff, and they end up not doing it. And that's what writer's block is. A lot of people suffer from writer's block, and they never end up writing that book or the movie or the short film, and then they never make it to Oceanside.
We're really glad that you did, though.
Me too.
So, one thing that your film has more than the amount of words on the paper at the end of your film is cuts. This is a massive edit. How long did that take, and how many revisions did you go through? Because that couldn't have been a one and done.
Yeah, I have no idea. I would shoot, and then I'd go home and edit it that night. And much like I wrote the most of the film, but then a lot of it's kind of improvised as I went on. So I would go home and edit it, and what didn't work, I would just reshoot it and shoot a different way. And yeah, I just edited it all the time. Even after it premiered at a different festival, I continued editing it because it's so fun to edit.
And then looping back here to Miles, to Callie, and Jason with Los Angeles crime drama. Yeah, I would love to just hear kind of, starting with Jason, if you can get the microphone, there you go. So I know you were approached to play a role in this film by Daniel Maggio, the director, who's not present today, and just wanted to know like your take on how it all came about, and kind of your thoughts going into the subject matter in the light-hearted, fair version that was provided.
So Daniel, this is the second year that he's done what he calls his birthday short. And what that is basically he writes a script, gets a bunch of his friends together, and ideally shoots it in one day with his friends. This one, altogether, I think took 3 days in total. But that was the general idea going into this. I think this is the second year, and I hope he keeps doing it because they're just super fun to do. And I think it's such a great idea that I definitely would love to try to do. But doing what he does is he's so fast and incredible at all of it. So, I mean, going into it, I mean, one thing I was thinking of when we were filming it, it was during the No Kings rallies. And walking around Los Angeles dressed as cops was a little sketchy at times. So I know that in between takes we were hiding our badges and
Yes.
trying to do our best to not catch any trouble. But it was just a lot of fun to shoot. That was such a great time.
Going off of the whole 2-day shoot process, Miles, you were excellent at lighting the scenes and being a jack of all trades, all hands on deck in 2 hands. And having worked with Daniel multiple times, how has the process changed over the years, or gotten easier, harder? Just give us a quick take on what you.
Absolutely. Yeah. I met Dan my second year of film school, and I was kind of not really fitting in, not really sure who my tribe was, but when he introduced himself at our film club that second year, I just recognized a kindred feel, and I knew I had to be friends with him. And so, yeah, that was over 15 years ago, and we've just done a lot of passion projects over the years, and it's just always an honor to collaborate with him, and just the momentum and the shorthand and the creative conversations it's my favorite thing. And so to get to watch it with an audience, reacting to things, just it's very reinvigorating. And I was actually fortunate enough to pitch my sister Callie to be an actor in the film, and they worked together fantastically, and it was really, really fun to bring that to light. And yeah, what did it feel like reading monologues as an actor? Sorry, I didn't take the Q&A.
Yeah,
Please.
Way too familiar with doing that. Yeah. But that was so fun. I have been wanting to be in one of my brother's movies since I was 8 years old. I've been writing about that in my diaries. So it feels very full circle to get to experience this with him, and it was so fun. He also is an actor in it too, and phenomenal work. But yeah, yes. Dan has he's such a talented writer. So those words were so fun to say. It was so silly, and the way he directs is so fun. It just felt like we were playing all day long, and yeah, very professional set. And
I guess I just want to, kind of end this on the idea of, the first time in my career, with the festival being a part, of a film playing in which the programming team, me being, of course, completely barred from saying a damn thing about it, and it getting in just on, our programmer's merit. And it's, again, a true honor, because I just want to thank everyone in the seats right now, because it's a very important thing that's happening right now with you all here, giving a voice, an ear to their voice, and making sure that they are heard. This four-wall experience of cinema is a shrinking one, and we're all keeping it together. This is an awesome audience, and we truly thank you all for coming out and just letting them know that they're heard, because they deserve it. They deserve the world. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
And so normally this is where we would take a lot of audience questions. However, we are a tad behind. And coming up is the great Catherine Hardwick, who's going to be on stage giving an amazing retrospective interview on her entire career, led by my co-director of programming, Carly Starr. We really hope you stay for this. Don't leave the theater. Just enjoy a quick break. We will clear for just a second just to run some tests and make sure that that's all set up for all of you. It's going to come up really shortly, so before you know it. And lastly, just do me one favor and please talk to all of these amazing filmmakers. We're not able to take questions, but I do not want them to go unheard. Please ask them all your questions in the theater. That would be a great honor. So until then, thank you all for coming out, and we'll see you again very, very shortly.